Because of sons Mark and Donnie, Alma Wahlberg is a sometime visitor to Hollywood, where she's had her share of celebrity moments. But Ted Reinstein says you can take the girl out of Dorchester, but you can't take Dorchester out of the girl.
Donnie, music and screaming fans. Mark, music and Hollywood. And Paul, fine dining and good times at his Hingham restaurants, Wahlburgers and Alma Nove.
We drive down, I came around the corner, and I looked and I was like, oh my God, there's my name. There's my name everywhere. It was on the awnings and the sign, and I was like, oh my God, I had to pull over. Sat there and cried for like 2 minutes.
Alma Wahlberg's house is basically a shrine to her 9 children and 18 grandchildren, with a touch of Hollywood.
It looks very familiar.
George Clooney and Mark's mother. He said, well, I met Mark's mother today, and he said, and I've decided I'm going to date her, I'm going to marry her, and I'm going to be Mark's stepfather.
Despite her brushes with megastars, Alma Wahlberg may never fully adapt to bright lights and paparazzi. After all, the Wahlberg family, all 11 of them, lived in a 3-bedroom Dorchester apartment. Alma worked the night shifts as a nurse's aide to bring in money. Her husband, Don, drove a truck.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy job. We used to, I remember going to get the welfare food, the butter and the cheese and the dry milk, and I used to try to camouflage it all, trying to come up with different ways to make stuff with it. And, but those were the best things. Everything to me was like a challenge. We can do this. We can do this.
There were plenty of dark days. Alma and her husband divorced. At the same time, Mark stopped going to school and got into trouble. A lot of trouble. The final straw, jail.
I mean, he was the baby.
Right.
Donnie stepped in, he said, I'm gonna work with you. You're gonna be Marky Mark. And we're gonna put a group together and this whole thing, and I was like, oh.
Though her children now are spread out across the country.
Usually I talk with Mark every Sunday. Every Sunday. Donnie, I could talk to him at 4 o'clock in the morning and then not hear from him for 2 weeks. And then he'll call me again, whatever.
Proof positive, during our interview, 2 of Alma's children stopped in, and her cell phone and house phone rang continually.
That's my cell phone.
Oh, okay.
Paul, take care of that. Call from Marcel. How do you like that?
Alma's had more than her share of hardship. 8 years ago, her resolve was tested again.
You lost a daughter.
The day Debbie died, Mark was getting ready to have his first child. Of course, he was crying. He said, Mom, I wished I could be there with you. And I said, you know, Mark, you're where you're supposed to be when your first daughter comes into the world. And I'm where I'm supposed to be when my first daughter leaves. I have a very special connection to Ella, Mark's daughter.
The loss of her daughter sent Alma into a downward tailspin.
I did get depressed, and my son Mark said to me, why don't you come and live in California? We made a plan, and I did. I was lonesome for the rest of my family and my friends, and I just, one day, just cracked. And I said, I have to go home. I have to go home.
This time, it was Alma's son, Paul, who had a plan for her.
He kept saying to me, I think you should come and work. Paul gave me the greatest gift that I have had in years. Paul brought me back to life. He really did. I love it there. I love it there. I'm me there. I laugh, I talk. I mean, you could come in and sit down, and I'd come over and say, oh, you know, how you doing? And I'd say, can you move over for a minute? Can I have one of your fries? I think I am a lucky, lucky woman. If Paul gives me a raise, I'll be even luckier and happier.
Well, I hope hope you heard that, Paul. Give your mom a raise. So Alma's impression of California. The houses are too far apart. There's no way to meet neighbors and no highfalutin friends for her. Alma was most comfortable spending time with the gardener and the maid. Meanwhile, she tells us that Mark and Donnie want their kids to know their roots, so they often visit Alma in her Dorchester